She's done amazing, so we're really proud of her.
Good. Where'd she go?
You're undecided, then we're working on it.
Did you? There's so much stigma around names
That's what
that
it is,
it doesn't really matter anymore.
It really doesn't.
It's called that, except for special
What you do with
Education is
it.
an
He was interested in
education.
engineering.
Yeah. So if they want to move on to
He's like,
something
that's
after 2
when
years, that's
start a semester.
absolutely
Yeah, I'm
fine.
not sure if I was the one to get
I
engineering.
wanted to start off
I see. We would have, you were on the WPI.
Yep.
You got
And as
it.
long as you're happy, we're here. Oh, I know.
That would have been
3
50.
months old.
Oh, yeah, I heard
So
it.
the company I
You can
worked
make a
for
lot
wanted me
of money.
to move here, and so they hired movers and tried to make it as easy as possible. But that's when we came here, in the middle of winter.
Wow.
No, but I was with them up until
Wow.
Yeah,
6, 7
I
years
worked in
ago.
healthcare.
And that's when
And,
we changed everything and.
Not our barn.
No, no, but
That
that's,
is on
that is
Brookfield Road.
gorgeous.
That is
It's
on
gorgeous.
Brookfield Road.
Yeah, our barn, it's right on the street, so you can probably drive by if you drive that
If I'm
way.
driving that way, is your barn on the right?
It's on the right
Very
side.
close.
We have name tags with your New Year's name, first initial, and then your month of birth. So if you'd like to fill out your New Year's name, feel free. We also have a free raffle for a Aston Library t-shirt. Oh, you want to enter this, I can see. So please do.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Well, we moved it in the church. Some bubbly.
I think I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna try to see if something's happening.
Drinking on the cup.
Oh my God! Look at you! Scared me.
Oh, I love you!
Oh, sorry.
Maybe we'll turn it the other way. How about we turn it so you're facing the door? I wanted it to be more social, but that's better. Yeah, try that. See if it feels better, because that's the last thing I want to do is have someone sit down and fall over.
You just want to get back across.
That is correct. I don't want to drive through traffic.
You can't. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, I'm just like that when you're doing surgery, I'll just say, just do it. Have you done it before?
So come on in.
I will rest. Good. I so happy when I saw you.
I know, it's jumping across the street.
How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Alright, we'll be back in.
Didn't know I was going to be on camera today.
You get extra money.
We were showing the downstairs, but there's no lights, and so it's getting kind of dark in there, and I don't want to have anybody get hurt and tripping on something. So I'll just kind of give you an overview highlight of what the first floor encompassed here. But before I do that, I want to kind of give you a definition of the difference between a meeting house and a townhouse. All right? A meeting house is a house that also serves as a church, a school, that sort of thing. So early on in our history, we would build meeting houses. All right? So at 17, I got to check my notes here because my dates are off in my head. 1748, the town is wanting to secede from Brookfield for the purpose of having its own meeting house and taxing its citizens so they could support a meeting house and a teacher and build that meeting house closer to the center of North Brookfield versus all the way to Brookfield. Imagine having to go that 5-6 miles it is to Brookfield every time to go to school or to services or whatever. So eventually the state legislature approves that change. So in 1748 we build our own meeting house at the end of Fulham Hill Road on South Main Street. Now that is used extensively up until about 1822, and then they bring their whole service up here and they build the new meeting house, which is across the street, and then in 1833 the government says you won't do that anymore. So they separate church and state. Neither can support the other anymore. So we have to build our own townhouse. So to separate it out, we call it the townhouse versus the meeting house. The first townhouse was down here on South Main Street, right where Subway is now. All right. It was built in 1833, of course, because of the separation of church and state. Unfortunately, it burned in 1846. There was a Methodist church service going on. They had rented the hall. They were having a church service, and the minister looked out and noticed their candle had leaned up against the wall and was catching the roof on fire. So they evacuated the building and it burned to the ground. So they thought, okay, we got to build another meeting house or townhouse. So they moved to this lot. The town buys this lot in 1847, and there's already a building on it. And it contains a grocery store or a dry goods store. So they sell the building, and it's picked up, moved out, and down the street to where Jim's Pizza is now. It was the old VFW hall, if you remember that one. Okay. Then they built the second meeting house here. Now, the second meeting house was designed so it had retail on the basement level, it had retail on the first floor level with 2 or 3 shops in it, and it had just one office, which was the selectman's office. Well, unfortunately, it caught fire on October 14th of 1862. It burns to the ground. It also takes along all its records for the town from 1812 to 1862. So if you're ever doing any genealogy, you'll need to go back to Temple's history, which was written to kind of try and replace all that missing information. It also took the records from the North Brookfield Savings Bank with it. So all the deposit information, everything was gone. All the books, everything's gone. So the town struggles now. They need to replace the building. So they hire Eldridge Boyden. Eldridge Boyden designed Mechanics Hall in Worcester. So he designs this building. The town is fairly affluent at this point because we've got the Bachelor Shoe Company that's doing very well. So they want people to be proud of the building. That is in the middle of the Civil War. It's one of the few town halls that this building was built during the Civil War. So they designed this building to pretty much be the same way as the other. It has retail space on the first floor, 3 big bays of retail space across the front.
The only office that would be in this building would be the office of the selectman. And so if you were to walk through that door right there, that office directly behind there was where the selectman's office was. Everything else was retail space all through the building. So, come on upstairs. That's where all the fun is. The stairs was refinished by the Historical Society in the 70s as a way to give back to the town. So this is great for this room because you could have a town meeting or a performance or anything and not have to have any sort of amplification. You could have a meeting and discuss things. If you weren't talking loud enough, you just talk louder and everybody would hear you. This was the center of activity for North Brookfield. Our elementary school, our high school, which was over on Grove Street, the elementary school being on Summer Street, didn't have gymnasiums, didn't even have a big room to play in. So all the sports and activities were done here in the town hall. That's why we have basketball lights on the ceiling, because this is where all our basketball games are played. This was the place for the fireman's ball, for any dances, that sort of thing. Any activities were right here, town meetings especially. Now, wits about me here. Let me cover the structural stuff and then I'll jump off into other stuff. In the 70s, and I don't have the exact year off the top of my head, there was a problem that developed with the roof. There was a leak that for years had plagued this corner of the building. So there's a dormer directly above this window outside, and that would leak. And this building is built just like a barn. It's post and beam construction. So you have large beams coming up all the way to the top, with another beam going all the way across that way to another beam down to the floor. Below us are what are known as bridge trusses. And they cover through between each one of those sections of commercial space downstairs. The wall is a bridge truss. And that supports all this open space here, which enables us to have this big room. But to get that in the ceiling, we have to have those same kind of trusses in the attic. So the attic has trusses that go across as well. Well, that leak ruined the wood in the structure where all these beams came together. And it rotted away the support beam that went this way on the bottom of that truss. So the roof started to sag, started to do this, right in this section. So to repair it, they needed to fix the upper portion of that wood and somehow figure out a way that they could support that rotted off beam of that truss. So to do that, they ran 2 steel beams that are about this tall, about so wide, an I-beam, and they run from front to back through the building. They threaded those through, they put it on that new wood that they just installed, and then they installed saddles, those green plates on the bottom of that beam, and then they ran the nuts up. And they pulled the ceiling back up to where it was supposed to be, and that supported the ceiling. Great repair, it lasted for a lot of years. In 2001, we started to notice that that dormer on the outside of the building was developing a lean. It was kind of going like this. And so, something's got to be wrong. We've got to figure out what it is. Further investigation came to realize that when they put that steel beam across, they had notched the rafter to that dormer, and part of that web of that steel beam goes into that notch. Well, they never fixed the leak. And the new timber they put in rotted away. Now we have twice the problem. We've got the beam that won't hold anything, plus 2 big steel beams on top of that. A lot of weight. So everything is sinking. That steel beam had locked into that rafter, and as it sank, it pulled that dormer over. So that was how we saw it. We called the insurance company in town and said, we got a problem. They send an engineer out. The engineer says, you got to move out. So we move out. Shoring was installed to go from basement to attic. And that's what all these holes are that you see. There was actually shoring built from the basement to the attic to hold the roof up so the building wouldn't collapse. It was an imminent danger of collapsing, especially right here. We also had to jack that steel beam back up to where it needed to be before we could make any repairs. So that shoring also did that. Plus the front wall had now bowed out a little bit too because there's nothing to pull that wall in. So that had to be pulled back in. So that was all done. The biggest problem we ran into was that modern timber will not support the same kind of load that old growth timber will. The growth rings aren't big enough. So we couldn't use timber to repair it. We had to use steel. So this beam right here is a big T-shaped piece. It goes out to the edges. It connects to the wood beams that are on either side. It goes all the way to the basement. They set the new steel beams on top of that. The building is now 100% structurally sound. It's a good building. It's got good fundamentals. In 2007, I think it was, the town selectmen put forward to the town initiative to remodel a building for $3,500,000, and it was voted down. So it's been pretty much sitting here now with friends trying.
More now, right?
Say again?
It would cost a lot more now.
Probably would, yeah. The Friends is working very diligently to try to raise money to correct it, to make it a community center. So that's the gist of the building faults and why we're where we are today. But as far as history goes on the hall, the stage wasn't original to the building. The stage was later built because the Cohan family, I don't know if you're familiar with George M. Cohan and his family, well, they would summer in Brookfield. And while they were summering, George M. Cohan played baseball with Connie Mack, and they became good friends. The family, the four Cohans, would arrange their new vaudeville acts while they were on summer hiatus, and then they would perform it for the town. And if the town approved of it, they'd take it on the road. And their saying was, if North Brookfield likes it, everybody will like it. So they would perform on that stage. Now, in 1934, they had Connie Mack Day to celebrate the life of Connie Mack. Well, George Cohan, not to be outdone, says, well, if you're going to be there, I'll bring my production of Our Wilderness from Broadway, and I'll put it on in the town hall. Well, he didn't really have an enclosed stage. He just had a big stage. He paid for the preceding march to go up around the edge of the stage. He also, and I can't prove this, but I think he put a lot of money towards making the building fire compliant at the time, because they added additional stairways. They put a stairway off of that window right there that ran across the balcony, down a stairway on the outside of the building, and then they put that door in up there on top of the balcony for a second egress off the balcony to get out of there. So, and it was a good time to have by all. Now, the marble plaques that are on the wall, because this building was built in 1863, completed in 1864, it was right at the height of the Civil War. So the town wanted to make sure that they honored their Civil War dead. So you'll notice there's some dates over there, 67, 68, and that's because those people were wounded during the Civil War and then eventually died of those injuries here at home. But they want to make sure they remember all those people, so that's why those towns are on the wall. Again, center of activity for the town. Any questions anybody might have, anything that you're wondering about that I might be able to answer? I hope I can.
She was downstairs, so I come with my dad and we clean up the rest of the functions. And then we go down and clean the town offices. For the building.
For cooling the building in summertime, they take that panel out and they put a large cast iron grate that like a campus leaves and stuff.
Yes,
And lower that in, and the air will go through, they open all the door windows up in the attic, and all the open the windows up down here very small, and the air will come in up and out, and cool all around this building.
Yeah, this was an active, this.
We can maybe get a good look at it.
Who's that thing?
$17,000 to $20,000.